What's going on, everybody? It's AG here. Today, I'm going to be revealing my still too early post-spring Big 12 power rankings out of the spring games. Last week, this week, I've done the SEC already. I've done the Big 10, and then next week, I'll be doing the ACC and then the G5 power rankings, my top 10 as well. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in and you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. We do post a lot of content just like this. And if you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up as well. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started here. Comment your rankings down in the comment section. Starting at number 16. So on each team, I'll have their record last year and then kind of why they might have some sort of reason for optimism this season. Starting off, UCF. Last year, pretty bad year, 4-8. Thought they'd be a lot better. Now, they do bring back Scott Frost, who, if you do remember, was he was the head coach that year they went undefeated. Went to Nebraska, didn't really work out there, so he is back. And they do lose some key pieces. RJ Harvey at running back, KJ Jefferson at quarterback. Gus Malzahn is gone to, I think he's just the Florida State offense coordinator now. I think Scott Frost, given time, will get this team back on track. But again, they lose so much talent in the backfield this year, and they weren't really very good anyway, that I don't know. I don't see it going very good this year. I think it's going to take some time. They could get 14th at best, but I don't see them doing much this year. Because again, it's going to take some time. But given some time, I think Scott Frost can get things turned around. 15, Houston. Last year, 4-8. Why do they have some reasons for optimism? Connor Wyman, coming over from Texas A&M, was a starting quarterback there, got benched in an LSU game for Marcel Reed, and he just kind of ran with the job. So you've got some high upside at the quarterback spot. He's had so-so success against the SEC conference. So can he be a little better against the Big 12 conference? Probably. And then Willie Fritz at head coach. He has a pretty good track record of having success, whether it's at Sam Houston, whether it's at Tulane. These last few years, last year was his first year at Houston, but these last few years at Tulane, he actually had a pretty solid squad. So similar with what I was saying with UCF, I think if you give him some time, he can get adjusted. Now, these two, Houston and UCF, thing with them is they're jumping up from competition from the American to the Big 12. So it's going to take a little bit to kind of overhaul their roster. But I think they'll be fine in the long run, just probably not this year. Number 14, Oklahoma State. They were last year somehow. I really don't know how, because Mike Gundy, number one, is a pretty good head coach. But number two, I mean, they had a pretty talented backfield. Speaking of Ollie Gordon, to name one. But they lose their quarterback and running back. Now, with their backfield, the quarterback and running back they have this year, they did get a little play towards the end of the year. So that is good for their experience going forward. So I think they'll get out of the bottom cellar at least, but I don't see too much talent on this roster. Again, if you couldn't do too much with Ollie Gordon, what are you going to do with this roster? And the answer is probably not much. I don't know. I have faith in Mike Gundy, but I don't know, some question marks here as far as, I don't know, maybe the budget. So I wouldn't be shocked if Mike Gundy maybe leaves. 13, we've got Colorado. Last season, 9-4. Now, they lose, obviously, a ton of talent, but if they could only go 9-4 with all that NFL talent they had, what kind of drop-off are they going to have this year? And the answer is probably a lot. I'm not too confident in Deion's head coaching ability. Again, I think he's been carried by some talent over the last couple of years. Now, why do they have some maybes? They might could be a little better. Their quarterback room is good. They've got Julian Lewis coming in as a true freshman. Might could take the job. Also, they've got Kaidon Salter, who's pictured here. You may remember him from Liberty a couple years ago when they made the Fiesta Bowl. Really good dual threat quarterback. He kind of missed his window. If he would have transferred last year, he could have been at Auburn, and the SEC probably kind of had his pick of the litter. But not too good of a year last year, so he's at Colorado. Now, they did have the number 2 transfer portal class in the Big 12 behind Texas Tech, so they've got some reasons for optimism there. And they could shock me here because, again, their roster is going to be somewhat talented, but not near as NFL talented as they have been. So I think there'll be a pretty big drop-off for Colorado. Number 12, Arizona. Last season, 4-8. Not a very good year in the Big 12, considering the talent they had with Noah Fafita, with McMillan at receiver. And they lose McMillan, but they've still got Noah Fafita. Now, they bring in an okay transfer class that can kind of fill in some pieces, but Fafita is going to give you a chance in games, but again, they kind of got manhandled in some games last year in the Big 12. Their head coach they brought in, Brent Brennan, hasn't had too much success, whether it's here, whether it's at San Jose State. So I don't know. I don't really see much chances unless Noah Fafita straight up just carries them to a really good year, and I don't see that happening, judging from how it went last year. Number 11, Cincinnati. They do return their quarterback, Brennan Sorsby, who has had spurts, whether it's at Indiana, whether it's at Cincy, went 5-7 last year. And so they actually did okay for a little bit there for kind of what I thought Cincinnati would do in year one. They've got a transfer running back, Walker, coming in from Wisconsin. I think that'll help them out. They'll have a solid backfield. And I think they'll be competitive in games, but again, they lack the upside some of these other teams have, I think. So I think that's why I've got them at 11. They might get challenged for like a top 10 spot, but it's going to be tough. Number 10, West Virginia. Last season, 6-7, they've got a head coaching change. Rich Rod is coming back to West Virginia from Jacksonville State. He's had a lot of success there. Backtrack to when he was at West Virginia last time. Really good track record of what he's done as a head coach. They've still got Jahiem White at running back, who is one of the better running backs in the country. Their quarterback this year actually got a little run while Garrett Green was out last year, so he has experience, and they actually beat Cincinnati with him starting at quarterback, so that's why I gave them the edge over Cincinnati here. But West Virginia, I think, could be okay, but Rich Rodriguez, given a year or two, is definitely going to get this team back on track. Number 9, Utah. Last season, 5-7. They've got a lot of changes here, but this is more just giving Kyle Whittingham the benefit of the doubt. And last year, despite a down year, they really only had 2 double-digit losses. They changed their backfield. They've got a quarterback coming in that I think will be okay. Donovan, I can't remember his name, Dampier maybe or something. I think he'll be pretty good. He started in New Mexico, and they've got a running back coming in as well that should help them. So they've got a brand new backfield. And again, they were pretty close last year because, again, with 7 losses, only 2 of those were kind of not even blowouts, but just double-digit losses. So I think they'll be all right. Kyle Whittingham's a good coach. I think Utah will be fine. Number 8, TCU. Really good record last year, but looking at who they beat, it wasn't too impressive. They kind of had a favorable schedule. 9-4 last year. They've got their quarterback back, Josh Hoover. They bring in some starters from the transfer portal that should fit in some key pieces. So I think they'll be competitive. Can they build off of last year's 9-4 record? Possibly. But again, they had a favorable schedule last year, so that record is kind of jaded. If they would have played some of the better teams, I don't know if it would have been that good. So I've got TCU at number 8. Number 7, Baylor. Last season, they went 8-5, kind of a pretty good year for Dave Aranda. They return a lot of talent. Their quarterback, Sawyer Robertson's back. They've got their starting 2 running backs, 2 of their guys, Pendergrass, and I can't remember the other one's name right now off the top of my head, but both of them put up almost 2,000 combined yards rushing, so should be a pretty talented offense. And their losses weren't bad. They lost to 3 of the top 4 teams in the Big 12, so pretty solid losses. I think they could be a little higher, actually, but this is kind of just questioning Dave Aranda as a head coach. He's been really spotty. They make the Big 12 championship, I think, his first year, and then they have dropped back down to earth really heavily until last year. So they could shock me. Baylor could end up winning the Big 12, but I don't know. Number 6, we've got Kansas. Last season, 5-7. Kind of disappointing year considering Lance Leipold had like his pick of the jobs the year before that. And they've got Jalon Daniels, who has been really injury prone throughout his history as a quarterback. But when he's been healthy, they've been good. But he was healthy last year and still not great. But they were really iffy. They lost to the bad teams, and then they beat the good teams in the Big 12. Really questionable. 3 top 25 wins for a team that went 5-7 is pretty impressive. Now, that was towards the back end of the season, so maybe they can build off of that and make a run. I think it is possible, so Kansas is a team to watch out for in the Big 12. Number 5. So I think the top 5 are pretty clear-cut. The top 5, I would argue probably the top 8 or 9 even is a clear cut above the rest. But the top 5 for me could challenge for the number 1 spot. Starting off with Arizona State, last season 11-3, made the college football playoff, won the Big 12. They return their quarterback, Sam Leavitt. They return their number 1 receiver. They return a lot of key pieces on defense, starters. But the main reason for skepticism here is Cam Scatterbo. They lost him. He kind of carried them and was just the bulldozer for them, a running back. Can they replicate his production? Now, the good news is, even if you lose in the college football playoff, getting that experience is good nonetheless. They did that. So I think Sam Leavitt is going to take a leap forward. Again, you've got some big wideouts. I do like that about Arizona State, the way they recruit. They've got super big wide receivers he can just chunk it up to and make a play. And at worst, it's going to be an incompletion. So if they can replace somewhat of Cam Scatterbo, I think everybody else will take a step up. So they could challenge for the Big 12 championship, but I don't know. I'm going to need to see what kind of ground game they have without Scatterbo, and if they can replicate that somewhat, not asking the running back to be Cam Scatterbo. You're going to have to change the offense a little bit, but Kenny Dillingham, I think, will do a good job. I think Arizona State will be good again. Top 25 team. Number 4, Texas Tech. Last season 8-5, and I haven't been on the Texas Tech hype train, but last year I finally got on it and they disappointed me. I think I had them winning the Big 12 last year going in, and they were nowhere close. 8-5. Joey McGuire has kind of built this program somewhat depth wise, like to where I think they have enough guys now. And then the good news is they have the number 2 transfer portal. So they've got a lot of talent coming in. But I'm still hesitant because of how they did me dirty last year. They might have the best roster in the Big 12, arguably one of at least. But again, the way they did me dirty last year, I'm a little hesitant. But they've got Behren Morton back at quarterback. He started a ton of games for them. And with all the talent they're bringing in the portal, Texas Tech could make a run. Number 3. So as of right now, I've kind of got, I know I said kind of the 5 teams that could win it, but I've got the clear top 3 right now, and that's Kansas State coming in at number 3. Last season, 9-4. Chris Kleiman done a really good job there. They have a lot of talent back. Their leading quarterback, Avery Johnson, one of their leading rushers besides DJ Giddens, so their second leading running back, leading wide receiver and leading leader on defense, and Romaine and Brown. So they've got a lot of key pieces back, and Avery Johnson has started multiple years now. They've won the Pop Dart Bowl. They've wiped that out. Chris Kleiman, similar to Lance Leipold, except not as big of a drop-off, has been consistent and has been heralded as one of these coaches, but they've yet to kind of get over the hump. Kansas State, I think this could be the year. Avery Johnson started multiple years now, has completely taken the reins from Earl Howard, after he went to Ohio State. So I think Kansas State could make a run this year. I think the Big 12 could get 2 teams in the playoff this year, if not more. BYU, I've got coming in at number 2 right now. Last season, 11-12, this close to making the playoff. Had a pretty good argument, actually. Why could they win the Big 12? Why could they make the playoff? They returned their top 3 guys on offense, quarterback, running back, receiver. And then also they returned their top 2 dudes on defense, leader in interception, leader in tackles. So I think BYU is a team to watch out for. I think they can make the playoff this year. Definitely possible. Would not be shocked, like I said, if the Big 12 gets multiple teams in. At number 1, I've got Iowa State. Last season, 11-3. They return a ton of guys. They return their top 2 running backs. They return their quarterback and Rocco Becht. And they've got some key wide receiver transfers coming in to replace those guys that went to the draft at Knoll. Iowa State, I think this is the year they finally get over the hump. They've been pretty close with Matt Campbell. It just hasn't happened yet. But finally getting all this experience back. Really good year last year, double-digit wins. These guys, Rocco Becht and the running back, have been starting for multiple years now. I think Iowa State gets over the hump next year, but I think really it's a 3-way race right now at the moment. But to recap, here are my Big 12 power rankings at the moment. Number 16, UCF. 15, Houston. 14, Oklahoma State. 13, 12, 11, and 10, I've kind of gotten a little tier, as well as probably Utah. 13, Colorado. 12, Arizona. 11, Cincinnati. 10, West Virginia, and 9, Utah. And then TCU, Baylor, and Kansas, I've gotten a little tier themselves as well. 8, TCU. 7, Baylor. 6, Kansas. Then we've got the top 5, in my opinion. One of those 3 right below could jump up, but as of right now, I've got those 5. 5, Arizona State. 4, Texas Tech. And then my 3 legit Big 12 contenders, I think, are Kansas State at 3, BYU at 2, and then Iowa State at 1. But that is my still too early Big 12 power rankings. What are yours? What are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you are new here, hit that subscribe button for me. Until next time, AG out.